Hi, my name is Albert Mucunguzi. I'm the chairman of the ICT Association of Uganda. This is a 8-year-old association. It's the umbrella association of the private sector, ICT, and we basically bring together both the businesses and professionals who have an interest in ICT into this umbrella association so that we can then push our agenda as a consolidated force. We've done very well. I know a lot of people don't believe it, but when you compare, for example, the last 10 years, we've had a fairly steady progress in most indicators. We have a very vibrant private sector. We have a very vibrant, let me call it, innovation sector led by youth. We have more than 4 big international standard incubation centers, and we have people trying to pull their weight to make sure that we move forward. In fact, I was looking at the ICT development index from a few years ago, showing that indeed we were performing higher than certain projections. Our only issue is on infrastructure. We still struggle. We have some unfavorable legislation, like the famous or infamous OTT tax, but even with that, we've continued to have the data, internet at competitive prices. We have some skills growing, but yes, growing skill set among our youth. So I think we're faring fine. I'm optimistic. You have to make it broader. You have to look at what is a data center, an enterprise facility for storing high volumes of data. And when you think about the route you as an internet user go through when you're using the internet, to the extent that you go and request to a website, say New Vision, but the request has to first go across different servers in about 4 continents before coming back to you. The time taken is longer. The amount of the amount of data you need is, even the speed of delivery is higher. So you need, if it's stored closer, it's much better in terms of how many hops you have to go through to access this data. So having a local data center has its advantages, both in terms of technologically, the number of servers, the connection has to go through in order to give you the internet, the data you want, and then 2, the fact that you have no control if data is stored outside the country. So the security aspect comes in. We're seeing more and more countries wanting to be able to store critical data within their national territorial borders. That's important because if you have a hostile nation where your servers are, it means you really have no control of the kind of the data you've stored there. And then even to the businesses themselves, the more we have local data centers, the more storage of data becomes a kind of SME, a service that SMEs can afford. If you're in a business, you have 20 members of staff, you have some critical client data that you're storing, you don't want to have it on a server that is based on site. It is always important for it to go even outside of your premises, so that should disaster happen, you have a critical backup available and you can get back on your feet as soon as possible. So the opportunity that I see is for us to be able to, for SMEs to be able to have affordable backups within the country, highly secure. That's something to be very excited about. It's one of the small, but it's one of the many pieces. You see, we talk about developing the digital ecosystem, and that consists of not just people with skills. It consists of high-speed internet. It consists of electricity. It consists of very modern legal framework, data protection laws. It's a big ecosystem, and that's why you see entities like the ICT Association of Uganda coming in and trying to say, guys, can we structure what we want as a sector, and what we want to see the future looking like for our ICT sector, and then sort of try to shape our journey there. So having a data center is a welcome initiative. We're excited about Raxio constructing a data center here in Namambe. We're excited about the potential for SMEs to have affordable data backup options at the data center. We're excited to see even the data center sector itself being competitive, having more players in addition to the existing ones. But it in itself is not the end. It's just one of the efforts that we have to keep pushing in this endeavor. So a muntu wansi, that person is probably more familiar with memory card, where they have a phone and they say, I want to put music on my memory card, and they put some few hundred songs on the memory card, and then they put it in their phone and play music. If that phone gets stolen, then they lose both the phone and the songs which were on the memory card. So a data center is a sort of facility. It's a building with servers or with very large memory cards, where whatever music that muntu wansi or that person would have had on the phone would be automatically copied and kept securely, not in the phone itself. So should something happen to the phone, the data the data or the music would still be available. So obviously we have to take it out of the memory card analogy and now think of it broadly as a business, as an SME. You imagine a bank, imagine not even just a bank, even the smaller businesses which have critical proprietary data or information that they need to store off their site just in case of a disaster. So you have to think about it that way. If it's that important, then you need that data to be stored away from your day-to-day premises. And then you have to have a mechanism for the backup to be updated regularly. So because you never know when disaster is going to happen. So you have to have a mechanism for the data to be stored, the backup to be updated regularly should something happen. The more the sector grows, I think the ICT sector contributes heavily, but what is even more exciting is the potential, where we see the sector going much less where it is now. Now, the more the sector continues to grow, the more we shall have demand for services like, data center services. The more, if we have a lot of innovators and developers creating services that need to be kept or stored online, the more we need local hosting services, local backup services, and that's why the opportunity is massive for us to have a local data center. So it's part of our journey that we're currently on as a country in terms of having a growing ICT sector, in terms of having a vibrant economy, in terms of having all the pieces in place for us to be able to achieve our vision. Also, you have to keep in mind a data center is an ICT facility or a tech facility, but it serves not just ICT firms. It serves the sectors that are not even necessarily ICT. It's an ICT function for helping the broader economy. Affordable and more secure hosting services or backup services is one critical benefit that I would see. Faster connection to locally hosted data is is definitely one of the advantages that I see. Also, the prices of data storage or data center services is going to go down, because that's what competition gives you. If you have just one player who is dictating the market, then that does not benefit the consumer who wants variety. So the more we have more and more players in the data center services space, the better the prices are going to get for consumers.